Welcome back, travellers, to the Lucky Die. Previously, Laffian begins negotiations for knowledge, Rhal feels magically uncomfortable, Squash enjoys a round of gin, and Zaltanna puts Lindrin in his place. Demi and Squash spend some quality time together as they attempt to mend the wounds, just as Dachin steps up his game to hunt them all down. Securing themselves in the stalking, the team meet up with Bogrim in a mysterious village called No Eyes and begin their search for the Hourglass of Bikram. Who is this person from the Age of Heroes? Why is this village in the stalking? And what will they need to give up to find their task? I guess we're about to find out. Welcome back to the Lucky Die.
You are in the village of No Eyes. You have just left the hut/house of Malwyn, who is the mage, the halfling mage of this village. And you find yourselves in the stalking in a small village. Bogrim is off to one side talking to Ladnar, who is the kind of mayor-ish, leader at least, of this village. What do y'all want to do?
Yeah, I would assume that the team has basically shared this information in between them after leaving the hut. So, this person sounds like a viable option. If they've been here for a very long time, they may need to know where we need to go.
You're talking about the person that's out in the middle of nowhere, or...?
Yeah, the age-past hero person. I don't think we got a name.
No, we didn't.
Did she offer us, a guide to try to help us find them, or would we basically have to wander?
I think our guide is, and Laffian, kind of, head nudges in the direction of, Bogrim.
He's kind of skulking, chatting with Ladnar. They seem to be old friends. They seem to have it's clear to everyone seeing that they know each other. They know each other well. They're just talking away off to one side.
The main concern that I have is what it is that we're going to need to pay, and whether or not it's a waste of our time going to this person.
Yeah, time is kind of difficult right now. We left Demi alone with Dachin chasing her. It's not good.
If we finish here fast enough, perhaps we can get back then. Because as far as I understand it, I think it goes slower here. Well, here time is normal, but in the material plane it's slower. Things are weird.
I don't think there are exactly books on this. I think this is a very new phenomenon.
As far as I understand, yeah.
You folks are actually kept in the same timeline as Demi because of the potion that y'all took.
Right, yeah, we synced up.
Because otherwise there's a risk that you may jump ahead 30 days and the big fight have already happened.
That would be bad.
So long as Squash and Demi hold on to the blue stones they have, they will be in the same time.
Okay.
What
was the guy's name? Ladnar?
Ladnar.
Okay, and what was the mage's name? Melwyn? Melwyn, okay.
Yep.
Because I apparently did not put those names in my notes, and I should. Malwyn, okay.
Okay.
I think it may be a good idea if we perhaps ask Ladnar, maybe they know what Malwyn would actually want of us before we go in making blind offers.
Not a bad idea, yeah.
I'd rather not walk in there going, here's 20 gold pieces, and it's like, well, that's not really used here.
Do you have any coal? That is the most useful resource in our land.
Only the one burning in my heart, Squash. Sorry, that got oddly poetic. Anyways.
Oh, I thought you would be literal. I was like, why is that coal in your... Anyway.
No, it's a figure of...
Elves, they're different.
Old Elvish figure of speech.
Oh, boy. Yeah, Ladnar just turns to look at y'all when you approach.
Apologies for interrupting your conversation, but it occurred to us that maybe it would be best if we asked you, is there a general guideline or a rule on what it is that would be considered currency or fair exchange here?
Oh, yes, Bogrim has told me that, sorry, some of us have been here for rather a long time. We don't really deal with currency per se anymore. We tend to deal in favors and exchanges, things that we need. Most of us are quite happy with taking answers. We're all here searching for something, after all.
All right.
Or a simple exchange of... Whereas Melwyn is quite proficient in the arcane arts, I myself are quite proficient with construction and building. So we often trade those sorts of things.
So knowledge, and so what? Like in your case, you would tell Malwyn how to build a platform, and then Malwyn would, I guess in exchange, give you knowledge of the arcane arts? Is that what you're...
Sort of. I would build a shelf for her, if she would need it, and she would come and enchant something in my home that I would find of comfort or of use. Like, she might perform a scrying spell for myself, or she might make items of furniture bigger, that sort of thing.
They trade in knowledge and work. I guess you could break it down too.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming exotic items are also of value here, or do you maybe not think of items as exotic?
It entirely depends on the item itself.
What about alcohol? We have plenty of that.
Again, completely depends on the type of alcohol. We do have our own brewery here, after all.
You have crops in the stalking that you can turn into...
We have things that we can approximate into a good brew, yes.
Things that... You know what? I'm not going to ask what goes into it. I don't think I want to know. Okay. Thank you for that information. I think we need to have a little group chat.
The finest spirits in the stalking.
No, there's plenty of spirits made of spirits, perhaps, Rhal.
Oh no! The brew
You
is
suddenly
made
see that
out
he
of
gets this bright
spirits.
idea. Like, spirits made of spirits, right, yes.
No, God, no. Yes, great grandma. Very good year.
The grapes were souls the whole time. No. What have we done?
No.
Grapes are
Soil and
windows to the
alcohol
soul.
was people?
Oh my god, they're drinking her, and then they're gonna drink me. Oh my god.
Instead of using salt on the rim, it's bone dust. I hate everything about
We can't record
this.
this late, V. We get so dumb.
Yeah, I know.
This is a great blooper.
Blooper, keep
actually-
it in.
Before we split off,
Yep.
Squash wants to ask Bogrim something. Bogrim, have you heard of the wizard lady told us that there's like a ancient hero that walks the plains, the stalking plane? Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard a couple of people that one that I've never personally met in myself.
No idea how we'd like catch up with a person like that.
If someone was living here outside the protection of a place like Noise, they'll be leaving ripples in the things that live around. There's no way you can't.
Ripples how?
We might be able to... Creatures... If you're able to survive out there, you get a bit of a reputation. They kind of give you a bit of a wide berth. We could maybe see what's been recently decimated or not going according to their normal patterns of behaviours. It'll be possible to try and track someone down if someone is nearby. Just changes in the environment. Same way you would if you're hunting, well, basically anything back home.
This place is very strange. Okay.
Aye, a little bit weird. It's not my favourite place.
Right. We'll be back. Unless there was any other questions. Any of the rest of you had?
No, basically just wondering.
Not yet.
I have a lot of questions, and I know I'm not going to get the answers to most of them. Okay, side group talk over here then, please. All right, we group huddle.
Okay, all right. Bogrim takes Ladnar off to one side, and looks like Bogrim has stashed his shit somewhere. He arrived with it, and he's going into a place that clearly has his stuff in there. So, you know, he at least has a base here. You'll be able to easily find him again.
Okay, so we're going to have to offer services or knowledge or something of the sort. I can help with knowledge.
I've got an idea.
What is your idea?
Well, I'm going to be a specter.
Right.
And
they don't like them here.
Well, no, but certainly they're not able to leave the bubble, and I will be, so maybe my favors at that point will mean something. You know.
It's a good point.
Give them a couple IOUs.
Give an IOU for when you become a specter, you scratch our back and we scratch yours, sort of. Oh.
It's an investment.
I mean, if they leave the bubble, I probably have to take them home. You know how when we go when I go to the stalking and the specters are like, stop it. They don't like it very much.
Certain ones don't like it.
Yeah, and then they have to send me back pretty quickly. I think they would just get sent back.
But if you could go out and do things,
right?
I think that's a good. I think that's a good plot. That's a good bargaining chip. I wanted to say trump card, but then I realized that we don't have bridge here. So, I have some exotic items back from the mirror realm, the death realm. I don't know what to call it. Maybe something of that nature would be interesting to them. But but I think asking them for help is probably the best course of action, but then we have a plan B with Bogrim and chasing down the hero. I would like to get this over with sooner than later. We need to get back to the material plane.
Right. I think it best if we just seek this hero out. I don't think this person, I don't think that this Malwyn person, I don't think she's... I don't know. I think there's a personal bias there. I think if I had to put together the pieces without actually having to do any past gazing or anything, my guess is that there's probably something more going on, like either they were long-lost lovers or just really drunk one night and the one said something to her or she said something to him, or maybe it was just a passing thing where he came through the village and was super arrogant and full of himself and just rubbed her the wrong way. I don't know. My guess, though, probably pretty helpful if we could find him. She's just being petty about it. Then again, I also couldn't read her aura very well, so I'm not entirely sure, but social deduction skills.
She said she could give...
He's a fucking asshole, and he's trying to warn us away because she's a good person, and it's not like some bitter shit.
That is possible. He would have to be a very powerful asshole, though, if he's living out there.
She offered us a protective spell so we could wander around the stalking a little bit more at peace.
Right.
We should probably go for that and then try to have Bogrim track down the guy for us, with us, I guess.
I was about to say, you're going to send Bogrim on his own? I don't know about that.
Nah. We can't have him dying off screen.
I mean, we could. I'm not going to cry, but, you know.
Kid, I kill a lot of people off screen.
That's true. You killed my mentor off screen.
Sorry. I also killed Caden off screen.
You killed him off clean.
I felt so bad about that. I genuinely did.
You had to take it to a different dimension to kill them, to get them away from these three. They would have thrown themselves on every sort of impossibility.
Okay, so why don't we go in? We'll lead with the future Spectre bargaining chip and say we want the spell so that we can all go explore. We should probably clarify that they need to cast a spell on Bogrim as well, because otherwise that's going to be a problem if he gets lost. I know, I fucking hate to say it too, whatever. And then maybe if Malwyn can offer any additional help or services, perhaps your items may be of an additional use. Or we may need to use it additionally.
They're not impressive items, they're just weird.
Little tchotchkes.
I have lipstick from the mirror world.
Lipstick.
Oh my god, I forgot you have that.
I don't know. It was on the desk next to me when I woke up, and I don't know why. I thought it was going to be important, but then my dad just attacked me, and it never got used.
Okay, I need to ask. Did you put it on, or like did your dad draw on you or something with it?
No, nobody got drawn on with lipstick.
I missed opportunity. That's all I'm saying.
It would have been a bonding experience, but no, we didn't have time in between the blows.
I would have drawn something on my father. I would have.
Twat.
Well, maybe not in so many words. I don't think he knows Undercommon. I could do it in those words.
There's one word.
It's a 4-letter word.
No, it's Undercommon.
So-
It's runic.
Y'all are going back to the mage's place?
Yes.
When you knock, enter, get allowed in, however you want to do this, she's no longer looking at scrolls or at books on her table. She has a few magical items and some what is obviously mundane items, and she looks like she's in the middle of some sort of spell. That's kind of, but she still says for you to enter.
I'm not going to interrupt. That's rude.
Yeah, I try to be really quiet, but I'm still dancing.
I'm assuming the team awkwardly stares at her.
You can see that she's casting this magic. Her fingers are moving very different patterns, and her eyes are kind of like they have like lots of colors going through them at about the same time. It's very difficult to focus on her. She seems to be small and kind of humming almost. And she kind of looks up at the four of you as you enter, and she says, "Yes. Have you decided what it is that you would like to exchange for protection?"
So, I will be a specter soon. Well, whenever I die, I will be a specter. And certainly a couple of favors would be useful for your town.
Roll a persuasion check, please.
Dirty 20.
Okay. You know, that would be very helpful. You wouldn't be allowed back in the village. Unfortunately, this... And she kind of like lifts her hands and kind of indicates the town. You can see the magic just like drops from her. Whatever it is, she's decided she's no longer finishing the spell right now. And she says, "You would not be allowed back into the village in that state, but I'm sure that we could come to some arrangements. There are some places I would very much like to visit here in the stalking, but it is a little too far for an old lady like me to go alone.
For every person that you cover in our group, I can give you a favor per person. Does that sound good?
I think that is acceptable. Yes, I agree to these terms.
Okay.
Is there anything else you can offer us in terms of aid in our coming trials, I guess you could call it?
Also, the gym that is doing the thing that I don't like very much, there's a drink corresponding, right? Am I going to be able to drink that, or...
That would be awkward.
Should I skip that one?
What?
The gym that's making Rhal dance because he's got the Spectre thing and it's giving him the like bad vibes.
Yeah.
Rhal's got the heebie-jeebies from the anti-Spectre stone.
He's asking if like the drink that corresponds to that stone, which is like the assumption he's making because we're having to be protected as we travel from the same things the town is protected from.
Yeah, she looks a little confused, and then she cottons on to what you're thinking, and she says, "Oh no, I have trinkets that I can give to each of you to make your journeys through this place a lot less noticed.
Oh, okay.
It is not made of the same thing. The reason that I need feathers or that I need a cost for these things, I cannot just give them away. It is because we do not have a lot of them, and we need to have these things returned before you leave. Otherwise, I shall have to step foot in the material plane, which I have not done for centuries, to get them back from you."
It's not looking great right now. I can promise you that. You might want to save your vacation for another couple months from now.
If you do not bring them back, we will not be able to leave the village.
This is a weird question, but does she seem proud of the fact that she hasn't been on the material plane for a long time, or like is she kind of like ambivalent towards it? I don't know why, but my brain just kind of like I just started wondering what the thought process was.
The implications.
Yeah. She just seem a little bit proud that she hasn't had to go back to the material plane.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd of course return these things if at all possible. I mean, if we're dead, there's not a lot we can do.
That is true.
Well, if we're dead, maybe we can just hop back over here anyways. I mean, be in a little bit of a different state.
We just pick up our own corpses. Yeah, so if there's anything else you could tell us or provide us we could use or know about the traveling outside of No Ice, that would be very useful.
And this supposed person that you think is god-awful, but...
Ugh.
God's awful. Pardon me.
You mentioned before, I think, about this... You mentioned before about this hourglass of Bikron.
If we didn't, now we're doing it, yes.
I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure I said only the timekeepers early. No. We'll make it work. The gentleman who lives out in the stalking, not far from here, actually. He will know a lot about the timekeeper. As much as I think that he is a waste of space and an utter liar, he would probably know a lot more about her.
This is going to sound peculiar. When you say that he's a liar, so is there a pattern to his lying? Does he lie about just everything? Is every word out of his mouth a lie? Or just, what are we stepping into with something like that?
He claims he is... One second.
He claims that he is the great Callanmorn.
He
And it's like, oh,
claims
wait a
that
minute.
he is-
Hold the fuck up.
Yes. He claims that he is Callanmon Senior, and everybody knows there is not a Callanmon Senior, it's just Callanmon.
Yo, Cal, you got a dad? Wait a minute. Was your dad a hero too?
No, I spawn on the earth as I am.
I would believe that.
Nothing can create this.
I'd believe it.
Me dad was a weak link. I came from the earth.
I spawned from the earth. Oh, you're a dwarf.
I knew there was a reason I liked him so much.
He is but a human, but he claims to have lived for thousands of years? No, I don't believe that in the slightest.
Really? That's the line?
I am a halfling. I do not live particularly long, at least not by your standards. I have lived here for nearly 200 years, but I am at the end of my life now because of it. There is no way a human would live longer than this.
Unless they're just not a human.
That is my thought also, but he claims to be a human. From the age of heroes, no less.
Does he have a name?
Yes. His name is Cyrek.
Spell it?
Cyrek. Yes, you may do a history check.
Now it's from the age of what? What was it? Age of heroes or age of?
Yeah, like the Age of Heroes would be like the age before the one that we're currently in.
That's
basically the
Marnak
same age
and
that
whole thing.
Yeah, that same time period. Yes.
Okay.
The people who saved the world prior.
Yeah, the last apocalypse when the time changed from whatever year date it was to 0000. You guys are about 5,000-ish years since.
That's a 30 on history.
Yes, Cyrek was a very powerful human mage. Even during the time of chaos magic, he seemed to have the chaos under control. He is well known for his ability to conjure things from almost nothing. You got a 30?
Mm-hmm.
He is sometimes known as he who is conjuration, or the spirit of conjuration.
Oh, okay.
But so far as anybody knows, he was just a human, and he disappeared about the same time that you would expect a human to pass on.
That's rather interesting. I actually recall reading that name. This warrants looking into regardless, then. Anything else you would bargain?
Is there anything that you are looking for?
Not unless you have all-powerful magical items capable of destroying even the mightiest of gods.
I seek answers, I don't seek the questions that are how do I kill a god.
That's fair.
Why are you seeking to kill a god? I don't think that is particularly wise.
Well, not, gods. Other gods. Bad one.
A godlike entity from outside our realm.
Yes.
But that's knowledge
From
that
the
needs to be
abyss?
bargained for.
No. How do I... Well...
Squash puts out his hand at Ballas like, stop.
What, your friend is giving me a sampler? It is only fair in trade?
I feel that this entree is big enough already.
It's fair. Perhaps
she kind of has half a smile as she kind of she's rearranging her items on her table, clearly separating out the magic from the mundane again.
Are there any relics or items that perhaps you would be willing to part with that may be of more use to an adventuring sort such as us? And mayhap we will trade a fair bit of knowledge on what was previously discussed for it. I imagine something powerful will be of more use out in the field than on a shelf.
Do not presume.
I presume nothing.
There is much to be learned from magical items.
Of that I agree.
Actually,
I could...
on top of whatever you were about to say, sorry. Have you ever heard of a knife called the Galdrama's knife?
What the fuck is that?
It's something my parents mentioned to me back in the Orchard of the Dead.
I have. It is a... Yes, I have.
Do you know where it is? Or anything like that?
She has half a smile.
Is it worth it to you, Squash?
It's something my parents told me I should probably find. Something that would be useful for me on my travels. I've had it in the back of my head, but I forgot to ask the Tanguran about it. I definitely should have asked them. They would have known. They had endless libraries and information out there. And it's been just biting at the back of my head ever since.
You are a magic user, yes?
Magic manipulator, yeah.
Magic
Whatever
adjacent.
it is you children call it these days.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Okay. I could use your assistance. I could tell you about the dagger. If you are happy to be a conduit for my magic.
Yeah, what does that mean, though? Before I agree, of course.
I'm having a little trouble transferring magic from these items, which are okay, but they are not the best, to these items. Which are, as you may notice, a little bit sharper, a little bit brighter, made of better material. I just don't want to lose the magic from these when I move them over here. Not an easy spell, I'm afraid. Not often done and very difficult. Two sets of hands are easier than one in this case.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help with that.
Okay. She, I gestured to the other side of my table and realised that this is an audio podcast. She gestures to the other side of their table and she, shows you where to put your hands. One upon one of the magical items and one upon the other. And they're basically just two very simple daggers. One is made from stone and is obviously very magical to the touch. And you can feel it has, a slight, orangey glow to it. And it has a very hot property to it. The other one, it's, a really bright and shiny metal. And it's very, very sharp. You can tell just by looking at it that's the case. She just wants to transfer them, and she says, all you need to do is just don't fight the magic is about to flow through you. It may be a little bit uncomfortable. Are you wearing any metal or anything like that?
Give me a minute. Squash just unloading hidden daggers and bolts and...
fucking Ramboing this shit on the table.
Daggers just appearing from fucking nowhere.
It's a lot better than it was back when you guys met Squash for first time, but I think I had 8 daggers hidden in different pockets.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, Squash gets rid of all that. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm gonna let the magic flow?
That's right. You know how, you're about to cast a spell, that moment just before you tip it over the edge to become an actual entity in the world, a spell out there.
Yeah.
I need you to hold on to that feeling as long as you can. The longer you can do it, the better chance I have of being able to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
You can see she puts her hands out just above yours and just very gently manipulates the air above. And you can see her eyes again are going through multiple colours, all seem to be at the same time. And you feel this strange prickling of magic just going through your body. And she says, so, what is it that you want to know about this dagger?
Well, preferably where it is or how to get it.
The last thing I know is it was in Bellum.
Oh.
Are you seeking to kill a warlock?
No. A past relative of mine just told me that I should seek it out. And,
Are you a warlock and you need to be unburdened from your pack?
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Nope, that...
No, but I'm starting to assume I understand the more critical use of that knife.
Could you elaborate on the details of the severing?
Please.
Sure.
I'm going to be quiet
If
and
it
focus on this.
plays... Please. You're too angsty. You're too full of emotion. Stop it. As far as I understand the dagger itself, it applies a small amount of soul fire. Burns away the mark of any warlock. Prevents them becoming a warlock again, which would suck if they wanted to be one. Or you could just use it when a warlock is at low health and just instantly destroy them.
Okay, I have a question on that.
Sure.
Could that theoretically do some harm in any manner to avatars of greater beings?
I don't think so. Avatars they are the mortal flesh of beings from the celestial plane. Sorry, from the sentinel plane. They are gods. Soulfire will not do anything to a god. At least not in their avatar form. Most gods don't have a soul.
Telepathically to Squash, Laffian just says, my line of reasoning on this is, what if we hit Dacian with that?
If Squash can answer, I think I can.
Yeah. I don't know about your version of message.
Oh, right. Yeah,
not from the way it has been ruled. It is a one-way.
Yeah, and I do not have sending or not sending.
Message.
You have sending.
Yeah, I have sending. I don't have message. Yeah. Squash nods, and you can see he's contemplating on top of what you're mentioning. You're on the same track as him. Bellum, is it being kept there, or was it lost there?
The last thing I heard is it was in Bellum.
Probably some demon.
It is not of a particular interest to me, so...
Is this supposed to burn?
Oh, yes, it means it's working. See? This is a fire enchantment, so... better than the corpsey, I guess.
Squash, I can't fix magical burns like that. You're on your own.
Fuck you for making this shit up.
Oh yeah, Zaltanna may be able to fix it.
Oh, yeah, I can fix your burns.
Although Zaltanna's more likely to inflict a burn.
I'm...
Sick burn.
I don't really burn people. That's not really what I do. I mean...
Metaphorical,
verbally,
Zaltanna.
maybe?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see.
And there we are. We're all done. And as she says that, and the magic disappears from her eyes, and she stops the movement of her hands, you feel the magic just release through your fingers as if you were casting any other spell, and you can see that the dagger in front of you, the metal one, has the same enchantment that the now mundane stone one has.
Can I copy the spell she was casting?
No.
You can't copy
because
filler
this
content.
Isn't using... No, well, there's that. Trademark filler content. She's not using any magic that you have... It's like me speaking English and then you speaking Spanish. It's something very different, and you just don't... It's not a magic that you're at all used to. You're used to seeing runes and particular structures of fingers. And as far as you know, most spells have a verbal part to them. They have the hand gestures to them. They have components. Yes, she was moving her fingers, but this is not in any way make any sense to you at all. This is either a very, very old magic or a very, very new magic.
Old magic.
Squash is going to pick up the old knife, the stone one.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah, the stone is still there,
yeah. He kind of shuffles it around in his fingers and then looks at the wizard and asks, are you not afraid of changing history by moving the magic from one item to another? This piece of rock probably was very important to the original enchanter. They may be passed on, but the story of the item still exists.
The story of the item stays the same. It was still probably used for some great deeds or sacrifices back in the old days, or perhaps it was just used for cutting bread. It doesn't really matter. The story stays the same even if the magic moves.
Can you help me do this again?
Rafie.
What do you want? We haven't told you that much about the outside threat.
Tell me about why you are here.
I specifically am here because we need a very powerful force to bind together 4 souls for a great deed. And for that purpose, I need to take the mantle of Timekeeper. So my goal here is to steal from the Hourglass of Bikron. My friends are here to help me and to protect me.
You have bloody brave friends.
We've done a lot already. What's one more?
This symbolizes a change in the age. The apocalypse is really here.
And then some.
It's not really bravery when you don't have a choice. And none of us have a choice at this point. This needs to get done, or else everybody loses.
Tell me, is this thing coming from us? Is it coming from the Abyss or is it coming from elsewhere?
Elsewhere. From other planes.
Other planes? There are only 5.
Beyond that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't understand it exactly myself, but the way I think it was just explained to me is that we live in 4 worlds: the Sentinel, the Material, Bellum, and Cicero.
And the one we're literally on right now.
And the stalking is kind of binding it all together, if I understand it correctly. Or maybe the stalking is a leftover?
This is a hallway, a very long hallway.
And this thing...
Not quite right, but you get the gist, yes.
This thing belongs outside of that, and we're not the only ones out there. There are other material planes, but they don't exist within our web, our sphere. And this thing goes from sphere to sphere and consumes them. No, it doesn't consume them. What's it
Depletes
called?
them.
It absorbs them. It embraces them into its whole.
At this point, she's kind of like sitting down as she's listening to the tale.
Well, apparently it leaves something behind, according to the one person we had been having a very interesting chat with recently. Doesn't leave anything good behind, just kind of a husk of a world.
Are you good at what you do?
That's... That depends if you would ask us and our friends or if you would ask our enemies. According to our friends, we could probably be better. According to our enemies, we're a right pain in the ass.
Then you're probably doing something right. You 4 truly are here, and you really are going to become the next timekeeper, then... Guess I'm going to have to redo my calendars, huh?
The fact you're taking this the way you are tells me that you know things beyond what we've said.
I was expecting an apocalypse, but not from outside. More from below or within, I guess.
Below?
There are things in the abyss that we seek answers about. I expected the apocalypse to come from there, but if there is a new age and it is from exterior, then I guess that's at least 1,000 years before that becomes a problem, and that will not be my problem, so...
Oh, good. No, it'll just be my second problem. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay. What do you need transferred?
Squash is gonna clip off his cape and put it on the table, and then he's gonna go into his bag and he's gonna get out his old green patchy cape.
I assume there is probably some sort of story here. And she looks at the very pristine cloak that you've just put down with the patchy ass old one.
Well, yeah. It's my dad's old cloak from back when he was a guard, when he was a keeper of his village. And I really hated not being able to use it anymore. I know that once we put magic in it, I won't be able to patch it up anymore. I understand that magic protects the item in such a way, but that's fine.
She looks kind of like she has a very expression of what the fuck. Why would you choose this? But a deal is a deal, I guess.
I'm not out looking for your approval.
Well, it's good you're not going to get it. She asks you to do the same thing, and like within like a minute or so, you feel like, you know, when you get a scab and it's really itchy, just like the skin is really hard and you get that itch underneath. That's what it feels like in contrast to the fire that you are just transferring, and it feels a lot like that until you release the magic and your old battered cloak covered in various patches is now the +1 cloak. The one you had before is now just an old off-white cloak.
Dirty white.
Off-white. Manila.
Well, Squash definitely has like a little bit of a shit-eating grin. He's quite happy with this.
I do not know what else I could offer you. Oh, yes. It is said that the Hourglass of Bikron, it is near to a place called the Well of Echoes. It is protected by the Crimson. They are very, very sensitive to sound.
Sensitive as in they will attack anything that makes sound, or they're scared of it?
It can be both. Much like we all react differently, so do they. She kind of like begins to like mess around in like the cupboards and the things behind her, and she comes back to the table. She's moving a little bit more slowly now. You can tell that she's getting tired. There's a lot of magic in one day. And she puts these 4 small stone trinkets in front of you. And they're all like a hexagon shape with a couple of circles on the inside. And she just offers them out to the 4 of you. And she says, "This will help you while you are here in this stalking. It will make you a little more difficult to perceive, to sense. But please bring them back."
Don't suppose you have one more?
That would completely wipe us out. It means that if the 5 of you are lost, we will not... It will be exceptionally dangerous for us to go out there without them.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
You know, honestly, Bogrum doesn't really deserve one anyway, so fuck it.
Does he even need to go any further?
We need him to track the...
Your friend Bogrum is very handy out there. He doesn't often have trinkets, and yet somehow he too manages to survive. He is a man with great wit.
How do these work? Is this like a bubble thing? He just stays close to us, he's fine.
No, it will make you harder to hear and harder to see and harder to sense.
Oh.
It is not a lot, not for what you need to do, if that is truly what you are doing. But it should help.
Unless you've anything to offer, then I think we need to be on our way sooner than later.
You know Bogrum very well.
He comes to a village on occasion, yes.
Where is his spectre?
His spectre?
When I come to the stalking, most of the time, they're around. How did the specters not find him?
The specters are known to follow people who are close to death or at least risking it often. If you decide to travel to the stalking like this, they're around, but they are not in the way. They will find him if he is to die. Simple enough.
So if his spectre shows up, we should be worried.
If I am to meet my own spectre, I am definitely worried.
Oh,
You should worry if you see any specters. Expect yourself. I expect that you don't need to worry about becoming a spectre or meeting your spectre if you are a spectre or about to become one.
No, I know him. He's very nice. We know a few of them. They're all very nice, for the most part.
That is a little peculiar. Not going to lie.
Peculiar describes this group, so not that far off.
They're kind of
Right.
like people still. They're nice.
I suspected as much, but I still don't want to meet mine. At least not for a few more years. I still have questions to ask and answers to seek. Good luck on your quest. And I will be seeing you again when you return these.
Yeah.
I can figure that out. Whatever happens, so it'll be fine.
Thank you.
With that, we grab the trinkets and leave.
Okay. The trinkets give you advantage and +2 on your stealth checks.
Ooh, +2.
Advantage and +2.
Yes.
Oh. Well, Squash.
Squash disappears from existence. Completely.
Just puts it on and
Just like a little wink in the air and just nothing.
No, like the little cartoon, like dust bubble around him.
Squash's ring has invisibility on it. That's not fair.
I mean, I could make us invisible. That's an option.
Where'd he go?
You have kind of teleportation magic, right, Lavian?
Can you hear something?
In abundance, yes. Not the talking part. The rest of it.
Rhal, be nice. Do you is there any way for you to set this town as a place we can go back to, so that once we've found what we need, we can return quickly? I remember you talking about things like anchors and stuff.
Yes, I can put an anchor here. It's only going to last for about 8 hours, I believe. I haven't had to use one in so long, actually.
Yep, you can put them 1 mile apart. I think it's 8 hours, and then you could. We said that you could just chain them, because that's fine.
Yes, it's 8 hours. And then, depending on the teleportation ability that I had used, the ones that have the mile reach, I can kind of bounce back to. Do you need me to make a chain? Because that's gonna...
No. I didn't know or exactly understand how it worked. I was just thinking. Sounds like it would drain you way too much to be a viable option.
Not necessarily. Not anymore. I've got quite the reserves.
It's just a thought that we could return here quicker and actually return the stones once we're done, the charms.
Or get the fuck out if we really need to, depending on how things go. So I will do my best to create an anchor trail, anchor chain.
Okay, fantastic.
I had to think about it, how to phrase that.
Trademark.
Maybe I could turn this into a money-making scheme. Create some sort of psionic railway between the Elven Kingdom and the Dwarf.
You if you go chat with the woman inside, she might be able to tell you exactly how to do it. but it will cost you.
I just imagine like 100 years from now, and it's just like the fucking Industrial Revolution has hit the dusk. There's fucking underground railways that just go all the way to and from.
Just little psychic underground railways.
It's perfect.
How Minecraft. All right. You folks are outside. You have your items. Please return them.
Yeah, I guess we rendezvous with Bulgrim.
He is in kind of what looks like a room off of the side of an inn. I say an inn with really big air quotes. This is clearly where they're serving booze, but it isn't really like an inn. It's more like this is somebody's house and they just happen to have like kegs hanging around. He's off in like a side room of that where he clearly has his stuff. And he just hears you folks come in and he's like, "Are you ready to go? Do I need to get something, or we good?"
Good's a relative term.
Are we good?
As good as we can be, I think.
Are you asking us if we're good? Zaltanna is giving him the biggest fucking, like, I cannot believe you shit. Because
He kind of
she's
like
not
raises his
even
arms.
thinking about, like, aren't we good to go? She's thinking about, like, are we good with each other? Which the answer is clearly no. Zaltanna is like the most solid friend, because if even if you're not mad at a person that like fucked you over, Zaltanna will be mad for you forever.
Yeah. Sometimes
Vengeance.
that is the best friend's job, is to be mad when the other person has to be a mature adult. I know that this is like the correct thing to do, but I'm your friend and I'm fucking mad for you. I kind of meant if you're just ready to go.
Oh. Yeah, well, we are. So get off your fucking ass. Put down your fucking put
He's
down your
clearly
drink.
standing, but
Put down your drink, get off your ass. Let's fucking go. And then she turns around and like gives Rhal a look of like, I'm gonna murder this guy, just give me the fucking say so. And then
Rhal's got a kind of shocked expression. He's trying not to nosebleed, but it's fun. He's torn.
I still want you to duel him. I love that idea.
I can't wait for this duel. It's going to be amazing. Brogram just kind of like leans down. He picks up his pack and just like slings it onto his back. And he makes his way outside. He says, "So, any idea on where you want to go, or any idea on where we're headed to, or am I just going to try and track a all-powerful being?"
Well, we were told that the
He lives in the
hourglass
woods.
it's supposed to be close to something called the Well of Echoes.
Oh, right.
Well, no. The hourglass is near the Well of Echoes.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Schmo that we're looking for, not by the Well of Echoes.
He's close to here.
Right.
He usually hangs close to this town. And we would very much like to at least meet up with him, figure out his deal.
Well, the Well of Echoes is only like 2 days from here. It's not a place I relish going to, but if it's close to where we're supposed to be going, at least we got a direction.
I mean, we didn't really ask. Jesus Christ, V, why did you choose such crazy names for them?
I didn't. That wasn't my choice. It's just who they are.
We didn't exactly
You have to
ask-
blame their parents.
We didn't exactly ask Malvin where they'd seen the person recently, but then again, they seemed mostly just baffled at their existence and annoyed, so...
I may be able to find the person, at least roughly, now that I know a better understanding of who we're looking for.
Okay, how would you do that?
Okay.
I have
Bogrim like points like, I'm gonna say north. Fuck it. He points north and he says, "Well, the Well of Echoes is about 2 days' walk that way."
Okay, we don't want to go that way yet.
Okay.
Unless the person that we're looking for is also that way.
Right, okay.
So the person we're looking for is named Sirik. Supposedly a very old hero that also happened to be, from my studies, apparently like the incarnation of conjuration magic itself.
Never heard of him.
You know what I'm going to ask for you, right?
What are you going to ask?
Can I aura sight that?
Yeah, sure.
You know I don't trust him.
Bogram and him have
Nor
had,
should
like,
you. All my friends hate Bogram. Fuck Bogram.
It sounds like the lyrics to a song. All my
saying
friends
that.
hate Bogren.
Complicated. Such a complicated character.
18 insight.
He seems to be telling the truth. He's never heard of Zurich.
Okay. All right. So, two options. Either one, we can go out and just kind of do some searching around and see if maybe the group of you can figure something out. I can try to figure out where this person is, but I'm going to need about an hour.
Seems fine to me. Like, aimlessly wandering seems like a worse plan than psionically pinpointing, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's one way to explain it. Remember the conversation we had about the threads and everything? It's kind of like trying to find that amidst a sea of them.
Okay.
Although it might be a bit easier here
So-
because there's not as many people here.
Let me just get this straight.
Right.
You want to go to that Hourglass of Bikron
Right.
to do whatever it is that you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you also want to go talk to this other gay that you've only just heard about.
Well, apparently this person that we heard about knows things about the actual exact location of the hourglass and may also be able to perhaps help us, maybe? I mean, if they're an age-old hero, maybe they'll be willing to help us out, avert a second apocalypse or something.
Right?
Maybe they know Monarch. Maybe I could just name drop and they'll be like, oh, my bro, yes, you know what? I'll help out. Any friend of Monarch, friend of mine. I'm not hoping for that last pop, but, I can hope. I can hope.
Or he could be a mortal enemy, one of the two, I guess.
Zaltanna is thinking like how she feels like if you drop Kalimorn or Marnik's names to anyone who knew them, it's probably not going to go well.
Oh yeah, Calamorn. I knew that guy. He cut my head off.
Yeah, what an asshole. If I ever see that guy again.
Okay, so what are you doing? Talk me through what is happening here.
I assume we're going to move somewhere that's like... are we in this building, supposedly?
You'd left it because you said you were good to leave, but now you're not good to leave, so you can go back inside if you like.
Yeah, I'm not going to just sit in the middle of this place and... That's weird.
But it's so beautiful.
And dead.
Dark and...
Want to be
Dead, yeah.
as far away from the center in that gym as possible. And we'll dance this some more.
That's fair. So I imagine that like we go into this building and Lafayette just like picks a spot to sit down if there's like a chair or just a corner. And he basically is going to spend the hour concentrating and kind of reaching out his senses as he uses Find Creature.
Okay.
I dance for an hour.
I will click it for you so you may see it.
Thank you.
Basically, I can kind of roughly hone in to where the person is within like a 1 to 3 mile pinpointing area. Ordinarily, this wouldn't work if we were on a different plane of existence, but since we're on the same
you
plane...
better find him. Yeah, kind of works out pretty well. Unless he's a plane shifter. No, he's not.
That would be some shit.
He's conjured himself a new plane. No.
I'd believe it.
So, as you cast your senses out to try and find him, and you spend basically the whole hour trying to find exactly where he is and anything about the surrounding area, you kind of have this moment when you breathe in, and then suddenly, as you're breathing out, you can just see this old human male. At least appears to be on the surface anyway. You can see that around him there is a lot of magic. You would assume some sort of conjuration. It looks like everything around him is covered in magic. He appears to just be going about his day. He kind of looks up and almost looks directly at you, but then he just continues on with his day. This may not be the first time, and he may not care that you're looking at him. You get the general feeling that he is probably north somewhere, probably maybe half a day, maybe a whole day. Like, within 1 to 3 miles. Yeah, he's about 3/4 of a day. So probably by the time the sun would set on a normal day for us is about when you would find him. Yeah, because you folks went early in the morning, I think it is, when you left, and then, so, yeah. Like, by the time you get there, you would reckon it's probably about sundown on day 1.
Okay. In that case, then, as soon as Laffian's done, he stands up. Right. Time to go, I guess, then. Got a good journey ahead of us.
You know where he is?
In a general that direction, and he points almost in exactly the same direction that Bogrim pointed.
Yeah, maybe like a degree to the left.
How
like,
fortuitous.
It's almost there.
Hi everyone, Rhal here. Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you are enjoying the tour of the stalking. Big thanks to Chaos Brain Kathy for the name Cyric used in this episode. We appreciate you. Big thanks to all of our patrons, including our patron Sophie. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. If you would like to help support the show, as well as Counterbalance and 4 Top 3s and all of our future projects, you can find our Patreon at patreon.com/Blighthouse. Again, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next episode in the stalking. Bye.
This is Memester of the Week. We're a Monster of the Week actual play podcast. It goes like this. A reluctant cult member, his stoner roommate, a skeptic YouTuber, and her fake camera person walk into a diner. They then walk out of the diner and drive off to hunt the things that go bump in the night. Inspired by shows like Supernatural, The Adventure Zone, and The Crit Show, join 4 friends as they travel across the country solving supernatural problems, and trying not to cause more problems than they solve. If you've ever wondered what it would be like if Scooby-Doo had guns and magic and monsters rather than real estate moguls, this might be for you. Welcome to Memester of the Week.